Hi everyone, it's Joaquin from Carolwood Estates. We're going to take a look at how Brentwood performed this in November and review the top 10 sales and who the buyers are when we know that. First up on our list, 355 South Bristol Ave. This one just sold for $26.5 million. An exceptionally rare opportunity to buy 1.3 acres of flat land in Brentwood Park, a true blue chip estate site on South Bristol. This property is wrapped in tall mature hedging, creates a very complete privacy, and there's a tennis court perfectly tucked into the corner of the lot, exactly where you'd want it. This sold for a very strong $459 per square feet of land. Most half-acre lots in Brentwood Park trade roughly between $450 and $480 per square foot of land, while larger parcels often price at a discount. This one held a going rate at scale, which is very impressive. Lots can certainly trade higher when there's a specific reason for a premium, but achieving full market pricing on 1.3 flat acres is very notable and significant. A great reference point here is 2 Oakmont Drive. This one sold for $26 million in 2018. This was roughly twice the size of this lot. So this just reinforces how valuable flat usable land in Brentwood Park remains, especially when it comes with privacy, scale, and a clean layout. Next up, 169 N Saltair Ave. This one sold for $15.295 million. It was purchased for $4.65 million in April 2021 after selling well over ask. It was originally listed for $4 million, drew strong interest, and the buyer was Ken Unger, one of the best architects and developers in Los Angeles and on the west side, which alone speaks volumes about the quality of this property. Architecturally, it's a modern farmhouse with a very refined, modern, traditional feel. The upper level is finished in clean white plaster, while the lower level is clad in an ivory beige limestone, a black standing seam metal roof, and black steel frame windows sharpen the whole composition. It's classic, timeless, very well balanced. The house sits on a flag lot, so that's tucked behind another house with a long private driveway that gives it a sense of privacy and separation from the street, along with really beautiful mountain and green belt views. It is across the street from a school, so there's a mix of strong positives and practical considerations there. Inside, the palette's calm and understated, soft neutrals, neutral stone, warm wood. The finishes are high quality, but not flashy overdone. Everything's just very thoughtful and livable rather than showy. Overall, it's a very beautiful house, and I think the number was fair to both sides. It's a solid deal that reflects the architecture, the setting, and the trade-offs in a balanced way. The buyer, they're coming from Brentwood. They currently live on one of the prime streets in the neighborhood. Their home is on the market and is under contract. Good for them. They're a very influential entertainment, sports, and media executive, and they were a key executive at a public entertainment company, and that one was recently taken private by a major investment firm here in town, and they're stepping into a role as a president and partner at that firm that took them private. Next, 211 South Rockingham Ave. This one sold for $14 million. This is a Bob Ray Offenhauser architectural house on the rim of South Rockingham in Brentwood Park. It's tucked behind gates on a really premium stretch of Rockingham. The first thing that stands out is the scale inside. The ceilings are tall, the rooms are generously portioned, and the house has a very good overall flow. The floor plan, it works well for how people live. Formal spaces are where they should be, comfortable transitions between the rooms, good indoor-outdoor connection, and there's a lot of the natural light throughout, and the structure is very solid and well thought out. That said, the interior is a little bit dated. It's very specific. The finishes reflect a particular moment in taste, so the next owner will almost certainly update it. The question is whether they do a full remodel or something more selective, but the bones are there, and that matters at this level and this price point. From a land perspective, this is a premium lot. The lower half of South Rockingham is ideal. You avoid some of the noise from Paul Revere, and it's tucked away from Allenford, so it's quiet. At roughly $550 per square foot of land, you're right around $11.8 million, which is consistent with top-tier Brentwood Park land. So selling around $14 million is a very strong number, and it shows real respect for the existing structure and the architecture, not just the land. So whether they keep the house in the remodel or take it in a new direction, we'll find out, but this was a very solid sale for this pocket and street. Next up, 13674 Bayliss Rd. This one sold for $13 million. It's brand new, and they got almost $2,500 per square foot. So this land, the land was purchased for $3.2 million in November 2022. The property was listed briefly and then pulled in July 2023 and then brought to market in July 2025. So what I'm trying to tell you is the developers, they were a little slow out of the gate, but ultimately completed the project in about 2 years. This was developed by Ron Gonen, who consistently does world-class work. The home is an organic architectural single-story estate designed entirely around panoramic hill and canyon views. Everything about this house feels deeply tied to its setting. There's a subtle, almost desert-leaning sensibility in how it uses color, texture, and strength. The palette stays in soft cream, sand, warm stone, echoing the lighter, more open hills rather than anything lush or overly landscaped. From the moment you arrive, the material set the tone. A herringbone stone entry pulls you in, transitioning into expanses of honed limestone and travertine, hand-laid limestone walls with irregular cuts and subtle variation, adds depth and craftsmanship without feeling overly rustic. What really works here is how the architecture frames the land. The great room is wrapped in these very expansive glass doors paired with 13-foot ceilings, and so the hills become a constant backdrop for everyday living. The ceilings play a big role in that experience as well, and instead of traditional coffered ceilings, they're recessed and stepped, very detailed with wood plank incense and concealed cove lighting. The interiors are thoughtfully complemented by a curated collection of bespoke furnishings from a very acclaimed interior designer, Rachel Goddard, and the buyer's coming from Pacific Palisades and the Alphabet Streets. He has his own firm and specializes in entertainment and sports law, particularly film finance, production, and distribution deals, working with studios, financiers, and talent. Next, 400 South Cliffwood Ave. This one sold for $11.7 million. It's about 7,000 square feet on a 26,000 square foot lot. This is a California mid-century modern compound, single story, low slung, inward facing, where walnut paneling, glass walls, and drought-tolerant gardens create a calm, design-literate retreat. Feels very collected and not styled. This is a beautiful architectural mid-century done by Marmol Ratzner, one of the most respected architects in Los Angeles. This property last sold in 2004 for $4.5 million, so this renovation is roughly 20 years old. And I looked at the permit history. The pool and detached guest house were added around 2018. A lot of the house is timeless, but parts of it feel dated at this point. The kitchen would be redone by the majority of buyers. The floors are nice, but most people would probably replace them. Same with the bathrooms. That said, the bones, the architecture, and the layout are all very strong. What surprised me is that it didn't sell for more. It's a more specific house, 100%, definitely. But in the end, it sold for land value, which is honestly a bit of a shame. For context, the property directly across the street, 405 South Cliffwood, sold for $9.6 million in 2023. 2023 was a tough year. The stock market fell hard at the end of 2022. Inflation was high and buyers were very cautious. That home also sat on a slightly smaller 24.6K lot. Even more telling, 351 South Cliffwood, a 6,500 square foot Spanish in poor condition on about 25,000 square foot lot, sold this year for $12 million. So I do believe this was a great house. They just didn't find the right buyer in time. Next, 116 South Carmelina Ave. This one sold for $8.7 million. Almost 7,500 square feet on a 9K lot. It's a French transitional residence in Brentwood Flats, built in 2017, set on a 9,000 square foot lot on one of the more sought after streets in this pocket. From the exterior, I really like the dormered upper roof line. Those are all the little windows at the upper roof line. It recalls classic French townhomes and country estates. The modern black steel windows and doors work well against the traditional form, especially paired with the Juliet-style balconies and the ironwork. It's a nice balance of old world influence and modern execution. The craftsmanship is exceptional, with truly bespoke finishes throughout. The color palette is also very thoughtful and a bit different from what you typically see. Creamy whites and warm ivories, muted sages, soft blues, and stone grays, all grounded by natural wood tones and subtle brass accents. There's a lot going on, but it reads very easy on the eye. I also like the primary suite's balcony. it's one of those spaces you actually use. So coffee in the morning, emails, a quick call while getting ready. It's a very nice space. The lower level is fully built out with amenities, including a bar, a wine cellar, a gym, and a screening room. The backyard, very lush, very private, and it's protected by mature hedging, and it feels like a nice retreat. Overall, great house, and in my opinion, it sold a little bit light at 8.72 million or 1,168 a foot. I think this traded toward the bottom of the range, and it could have comfortably sold between 9 million and 9.25. The buyer's coming from Cheviot Hills, and as a real estate attorney, they advise developers, investors, institutional clients, and high net worth individuals and family offices on some of the most complex entitlement and transactional matters in California. Next, 2167 Mandeville Canyon. This one sold for 6.225 million. Purchased for 2.975 million in November 2021 and listed at 7.9 million in March 2024. This one took a while to get done, and they sat on the market for about a year and a half, which is very long, especially considering, and for the house itself, when they redid it, it took a while to get to market. They gutted the house, but they did not expand the footprint. From a numbers standpoint, they still did well. Their loan was a little over $4 million at under 3%, which is excellent debt. If you assume a very expensive $350 per square foot for the rehab, 1.4 million for true gut renovation, and you measure ULA, resale costs, everything else, they still likely cleared $750,000. If this had been a clean 18th month project start to finish, which it realistically could have been, that would have translated to a roughly 55% annualized return. Huge. In reality, it took closer to 4 years, which brings the annualized return down to about 14.5%. Still solid, just slower capital. The house sits behind 10-foot gates on a quiet road off Mandeville. It's on a 0.44 acre lot, but functionally, you're looking at about 8,000 to 9,000 square feet of flat usable land. Architecturally, it's a modern Spanish Mediterranean revival reimagined. What really stands out are the plastered walls and ceilings. They create a continuous soft envelope throughout the house. The arched openings, curved staircase, feels very sculptural. Custom light oak millwork keeps everything very warm and modern. The kitchen is also anchored by a 14-foot Rosso Levanto marble island. It's a deep burgundy stone, and the steel frame windows are very nice throughout the house. Overall, I think this traded where it should have for designer Spanish on an 8,000 to 9,000 square foot lot. There may have been able to push this price a little bit higher, but the design is somewhat specific, and that narrowed the buyer pool a little bit. The buyer is a general global manager for one of the biggest sports brands in the world. They came over from Europe a couple years ago. Next, 157 North Woodburn Drive. This one sold for 5.925 million. It's a 1939 ranch-style home on a little over half an acre of flat land. It was purchased by Emma Corp, a single family and industrial developer. The buyer, Emma Corp, the owner of it, also owns one of the neighboring properties. So I wouldn't be surprised if the lots eventually get combined and the existing house comes down. The house itself was dated, but in very good condition and completely livable. At 5.9 million, this was a solid sale for a half-acre parcel in this part of Brentwood. A very relevant comp is 491 Homewood Road, which sold in late August for 5.2 million or $256 per square foot of land. Very similar profile and supports the number here. Next up, we're going to Homewood, 12618 Homewood Way. This one sold for 5.3 million, 4,000 square feet on an 18.4 thousand square foot lot. This is a pure California mid-century. Deeply private, inward focused, low horizontal architecture, wrapped in glass, parquet floors, and curated interiors designed around light, privacy, and landscape. The living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, all open to the outdoors through floor-to-ceiling walls of glass with direct views to the gardens and the backyard. It's classic mid-century, the idea of living with the landscape rather than looking past it. The primary suite, it's especially strong. They have vaulted ceilings pushing past 12 feet and a full-height glass wall framing the lush hillside. Very beautiful room, good scale, good portions. This is a fixer though, but with really beautiful architecture, a smart layout, and good bones on a prime Brentwood street. The main limiter here is lot size. It's really 10,000 square feet of usable flat land, and that's generous. If it were larger, this would have traded higher. The buyer's coming from Pacific Palisades and is the CEO of one of the world's leading VR gaming studios. Next up, we have two properties, 151 5th Anita Drive, 149 5th Anita Drive. They sold for $4 million. These lots sold together. They came with RTI plans for two contemporary modern farmhouses on a quiet cul-de-sac in Brentwood Flats. You're looking at roughly 10 to 11,000 square feet of flat land between the two of them. In the middle of the lot, it starts to steepen pretty dramatically with the slope. What's compelling about the plans is how they handle the slope of these lots. The backyard is designed as a tiered composition. Lawn, terrace, and the pool are stacked vertically rather than stretched flat. The pool is meant to project outward from the slope, almost like a horizontal cantilever. Instead of being buried into the yard, it pushes forward and becomes an architectural feature. And rather than trying to erase the natural grade and slope, the design works with it. The house sits higher and commands the site. The lawn is a measured middle terrace, and the pool drops slightly below. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, give us a call, shoot us a text, an email. Let us present our approach and share our thoughts on how to best maximize your asset before coming to market. We have an excellent network of professionals to prep the house, from basic paint, landscaping, decluttering, minor remodel, full remodel, interior designer, staging. And if you're looking to buy, let us connect you with the off-market properties that we have available and that we know are available. Give me a call, 310-943-0909. Thank you.